I was thinking just last night about the name PREPSTEADERS. If you have been following us for any amount of time, you know that that's probably a mix of two words of prepping or prepper and homesteader, right? But I was thinking of it totally different last night. The word PREPSTEADING is wonderful because it also has that word steady kind of put in there. Prepping and steadiness go right hand in hand. For anything that comes up where everyone else is panicking, I want every PREPSTEADER watching this to be prepared and steady. So, in the next two episodes, both this week and next week, we're covering the topic of how to prepare for a pandemic. Now that's a pretty serious and pretty hot topic in the news right at the moment, though you might see this 10 years from now and the coronavirus or COVID-19 that we're all worrying about right now may be long gone by then. I sure hope it is. But whenever you see this, I want you to take the time to prepare now on the front side of a pandemic for your family and what you need to do to prepare ahead of time so that you can be steady while everyone else is panicking. Don't go away. Start here. Before anything else gets out of hand or anything happens in your family where you think somebody might be infected, start right here. I want you to find the most isolated corner in your home that has the least amount of traffic and happens to be the farthest away from where food is being prepared, because we sure don't want that to be the area that gets exposed to this if it comes in your home. So find a corner, get it cleared out, have it ready and already be the assigned place. And if you're thinking of your mental state, if you had to be stuck in that corner in your own personal quarantine, I would say try to get a corner in your house that actually has a window to the outside, because boy, whoever might need to sit in that corner for a while might be really thankful to at least have a window that can let in some light and some fresh air and all that. But then you're going to want to get some plastic sheeting and some good duct tape that's going to seal off that area. So literally prepare ahead of time for if by chance you had to be in a little 5-foot square spot in the corner of the house, back away from everybody else. Make a bed in there, have the window, and have the sheeting with plastic taped all along the ceiling and the walls and all along the floor, okay? So that's the first thing that you're just preparing mentally for, and make sure you have those supplies in the event that they're needed. I don't think you need to set up that corner just yet, Lord willing. All right, next, you're gonna want to at least have a covering that's available for your family if you did have to go out in public and you knew that you were going into an area where there might be others who are infected. So let's start with the breathing part, because that's the most important thing right now, right? I'm going to have a link right above this video that's going to show you where the Chinese government for the coronavirus, which is kind of what we're dealing with at the moment, has shown you how to make your own personal makeshift breathing stuff. And I really think that they've got it down pretty good, although it's not nearly as effective as a strong N95 mask, which we're going to get at the store. But this is what you could do, and they're going to show you how you can just take paper towels and tissue and a bit of wire, and also a plastic folder from your office supplies. And I'll have that linked above so you can go and watch exactly what they recommend for that. Some folks have been all in a tither thinking they need to get a gas mask with very expensive filters for this. And I want to encourage you that no, that's probably not going to be of any benefit for this specific type pandemic. What you do want is an N95 mask, but keep this in mind about those. They are only a one-use type mask, and you're going to want to wear it as long as you possibly can. It will actually be effective clear up until it becomes difficult to breathe through, because the moisture that comes out of your breath is going to eventually kind of clog it up just enough to make it so that it's hard to breathe, and you know, okay, it's time to get a new mask. But with that said, you can't just dry it out and use it again. You will need to have multiple N95 masks for each person in your family. The only thing is this, They happen to be manufactured in China. So yes, there may be a time in the future where they are difficult to acquire. Some cities have already reported that it is a little bit difficult to get a hold of them because people kind of are all grabbing them up right now while they can. Most places, though, there are plenty of them. So just get yourself some N95 masks, and often those are going to be found in the painting section of the department store that you go into, or a hardware store like Lowe's or Home Depot or Walmart. Sometimes even, other kind of grocery stores and things will carry those. Nextly, you're going to want a Tyvek full body suit for your whole family. Now, luckily, these are not that expensive, and there's nothing special. You don't have to get a medical grade version or anything like that. You just want the kind that any painter is going to wear. However, you do want the one with the full hood so that it can come all the way around your face, and preferably the kind that has the elastic band, so it's not just an open, but elastic band around the face and elastic around the wrists of the arms and down at the ankles. That's the kind of Tyvek suit that you want for each member of your family. And I would try to get a couple if you can afford them. Next, you're going to want to get some rubber gloves, and any kind are going to be helpful, just trust me. But if you can get the sterile kind, that's great. If you are allergic to latex, right now is the time to find that out. Don't wait until you're stuck with a whole box and it's a pandemic and you're allergic to the gloves. You want to find out if you're allergic to latex, because there is a good kind that you can get that is latex free. But you're going to want to try to get the gloves that aren't just up to your wrist. You want to get the ones with the extended wrist area. Sometimes they can make them like 12 inches long. That's the kind of gloves you want. And in a pandemic, keep in mind, if you are actually going out into an area where people have got it, or you're treating someone in your home, you're going to put on one set of gloves, then you're going to put on your Tyvek suit, and then you're going to put another set of gloves on going over top of that sleeve. So one set goes underneath the sleeve and then one over the sleeve, so that you've kind of got a full seal going on there with nothing able to be compromised. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so you've got your N95 mask, you've got your Tyvek suit, you've got your gloves. You're going to want to get some wader boots, and preferably the kind that have no seams. Preferably they're going to be rubber or plastic, where they are just all made of one piece of whatever they're made with, and it needs to have a smooth surface so that it's very easy to clean and disinfect every time that you take them off. That's something not all of us have, and so this is the time to go ahead and get those. Let me look real quick. Oh, eyewear. You need to have eyewear, and there are some kinds of eyewear that are not as effective, but even glasses are going to help. So if someone sneezed, you would be thankful that you had glasses on. But if you are getting the right kind, you're going to want the same area where you got that N95 mask. You're going to want plastic eye goggles that have the side vents, not anything in the front, but it'll have a nice full front viewing area and then vents in the sides, but is also enclosed in the sides. I hope that makes sense. If you don't have the boots, you'll want to get the little booties, and oftentimes those Tyvek suits come with little booties, so that's a convenience there. But make sure you have something that covers your feet regardless, not just your typical shoes that you're going to be tracking in and out of the house. Then you're also going to want a 5-gallon bucket, or a couple of those, and some bleach that's the extra germicidal bleach, because you're going to want to be able to take off all those things that we've just put on our bodies when it's time to strip those things off, and we're going to plunge those into that 5-gallon bucket that we've got prepared with bleach water that is going to soak those and get the germs out of them. All right? Just so you know, all of these things that I've mentioned today can be found right now at different local stores. But in case you're watching this at a time when those are not, you might also want to look online, of course, at Amazon.com. Walmart.com now delivers and might have exactly what you need. But there are also places like Lowe's and Home Depot that have websites you can order from. And medical supplies can be ordered usually from Medline.com. Now, none of these places have told me to sponsor and say their name out or anything like that, so you use whichever one works for you. Again, at the time of this episode's filming, there are only about 20 reported cases within the United States at this time. I hope that that hasn't grown by the time you view this, or that this pandemic is long past, but I want you to know that your chances of surviving it are high, but your chances of contracting it or being around someone who has it is also pretty high. So, even though the last pandemic that went through the whole world was back in 1918, that's been quite a while. You want to take this seriously, not get scared, but just prepare and then stay steady. There are things that should be thought through and prepared in advance, like if you have prescription drugs and you need to get an extra supply of those, like a 90-day supply, ask your doctor if he can write that prescription. Go ahead and fill it and be ready with that, especially those of you who are on insulin. And I would say that's especially important right now because most of our pharmaceutical drugs come from China. And so just in case borders were shut down or trading was shut down in some ways and it became harder to get a hold of those, this is the time right now to go ahead. And same with all the other things I've listed. Most of these items are mostly made in China. So that's why not only are you preparing ahead of a pandemic, but because this specific one is coming out of China itself, I offer my deepest sympathies for those of you who are in that country and enduring this right now. We wish that we could make it better for you, but it is wise for the rest of us to keep ourselves careful in what we even order from your country at this time. So get what you need ahead of time. Get a double supply, a triple supply if you can, of food and clean water, your prescription drugs, and have your plan written out and in place for your family in the event that you're exposed to this virus. Now, we're going to come back and talk about a whole lot more next week that's going to help you feel a whole lot more confident about surviving this and other pandemics in the future. So don't miss next week's episode, and until then, go out and live courageously and generously and be a blessing to someone today. We'll see you next time. Hey there, before you go, let me share this quick word of scripture with you. This is out of the Holy Bible in the book of John, chapter 15, verses 16 and 17. And these are the words of Jesus Christ himself. He says this, "You didn't choose me, but I chose you. And I appointed you that you should go and bear much fruit, and that fruit should abide, so that whatever you ask the Father in my name, he will give it to you. These things I command you, so that you will love one another." Now go spread the word.